Hello, and welcome to the Straight to the Source podcast. I'm Tawnya Bahr.
And I'm Lucy Allen, and we're looking forward to taking you straight to the source of the people driving our food and hospitality industry forward.
Today we're joined by Chef Karen Doyle, a powerhouse in Australian hospitality. As president of the Australian Culinary Federation, educator, and mentor, Karen's influence stretches far beyond the kitchen. Her story is proof that leadership in food is about so much more than what's on the plate. Well, hello, Karen.
Hey, Tawnya, how are you?
I'm doing great, thank you, and super excited to have you in the studio today.
We'll see.
Well, it's really wonderful because you wear so many hats in the industry and in your personal life, and you've come all the way from Ireland originally. And I thought the best way to start this whole conversation would be to find out how you landed in Oz from Ireland.
God, how long have we got?
Well, we've got as long as we want.
The first time I came to Australia was backpacking. So that was good.
What year was that?
Oh my God, now you're making me tell my age. 97.
Okay.
So I came backpacking with 4 girlfriends, 3 hairdressers at the time, and spent about 2 years traveling. So I spent a year in Australia. And then I went back through Asia because I was really interested in seeing all the different flavors, spice markets, the different foods. So I spent about a year traveling back on my own so I could experience all of that. And got home and did the silly thing. I'd met an Australian. He couldn't get a visa to Ireland. I applied, I think that day. I applied within a week or two to come back, and friends of mine had applied 2 years beforehand. I applied on a Monday, had my visa in my hand by Friday.
Now, that doesn't happen every day.
There were 12 of us across Ireland and 12 across the UK that got asked to come over. I was supposed to go to Adelaide. I shouldn't say this on camera, but didn't go, but got offered a job back in Melbourne. So came back to Melbourne for what was supposed to be a year or two. And how many years later?
Oh, well, I'm not mathematical, but it's quite a while now.
Yeah, and stayed in Melbourne for a while and then moved to Sydney for the Olympics. And that's kind of...
To cook at the Olympics?
I had a catering job I came up to do. So I moved from Melbourne to Sydney, and that's kind of... I've been in Sydney since.
Well, your culinary career, though, started in Ireland. And how did that come to be?
By accident.
How so?
It was something I hated cooking when I was younger. Yeah, my grandmother was a fabulous cook. Both my parents are from farms. So we had the whole home produce, making things like butter with my grandmother, bread, going out and milking the cows. You go out into the hay shed, there could be a cow hanging upside down or whatever. That was your beef for the next year. Had a pet lamb that became lamb chops later. But literally, I was applying when I finished school. I was in my last year and I was thinking about I wanted to go into the medical field, but got a summer job as a chef, and a friend of mine, they had a little boutique 5-star little hotel. Kind of fell in love with it from there and came home and told my dad I was going to be a chef. Got a scholarship because he kind of went, no. And I kind of went, well, I want to do it. Got a scholarship and then, just kind of moved from there. Started my apprenticeship with the Hilton. Conrad Hilton when it opened in Dublin, then just kind of moved on. So that's how I became a chef.
Wow.
And look, when I say I didn't like cooking, but it wasn't something I thought I would do for a career.
Well, that's fascinating. And a lot of people wouldn't know that about you. And I mean, with your time in the kitchen, whether cooking or teaching, what are some of the lessons that kind of have stayed with you?
Be respectful of others. That's a big one. And also communication is key. But also you have to be passionate about what you do and love what you do. Like I never actively as an apprentice looked for jobs. I kind of fell into different positions, and it was purely because I was interested. So I went from like a big hotel to a 30-seat fine diner, back then to another hotel that we could do 16 to 30,000 on a weekend, so it's that whole volume. And if you have to keep learning. I think that's the big thing, and be interested in what you do and care.
Yeah. It goes a long way, doesn't it? Because you can tell when people don't care.
Oh yeah, but it's not just a job. It should be, you want to get up in the morning and go and do it. And that's to come home with that, that self-satisfaction, but also to see how others grow and mature and what you can achieve together.
Well, when you say that, I think about mentorship and I think about your career, which has spanned, over the years, and it's evolved, and you wear so many hats. I mean, when we think about you as a chef and a judge and a leader and an educator, how does that make you feel when you reflect back on your career to date? And you're not done yet, so.
I wish I'd won a lotto. I suppose it's surprising the journey that life takes you, especially when you're not planning it.
Yeah.
Like if you told me I would have gone into teaching, or I would be the national president of the ACF, or I'd be sitting in a World Chef's Board, it's not something I ever envisaged for myself.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been an interesting journey and I wouldn't change it.
Do you think that if you were to give younger chefs advice, what would that advice be?
Slow down sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Think about what you want to do and make informed choices. A lot of people move for money or for, quickly without thinking about it. You need to build in reflection time and look after yourself. How many of us in the hospitality industry, I know when I was young, you worked day and night. Yeah. Well, I loved it and that's what I wanted to do, but those days are gone. You need to find something you're passionate about and follow it.
Do you think the culture has changed in kitchens?
Definitely.
Being the president of the Australian Culinary Federation, which is a national organization or association, can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, I'm the national president. That's correct. It's an association that's been around for many, many years. Prior to 1950, it's been led by some fantastic industry chefs across the years. I suppose I'm very proud to take up the mantle after them. I've followed, the Vince Crawleys, the Peter Wright, Peter Howard. So there's a lot of big names out there. And I suppose it is an association to mentor. My main goal for it is to mentor young chefs, make sure there's pathways coming up and opportunities. Mm-hmm. And obviously then also to embed in our mature chefs as well, to make sure they have a voice, networking opportunities, and just educational opportunities also, which is great when we team with Straight to the Source, etc. We can go out and do, market tours, paddock to plate. So, we link in with sustainability initiatives. It's good we've built partnerships with other associations now so that we can come together as one voice also moving forward.
When I think back on some of the Straight to the Source tours that you've been on.
Yes.
And we've traveled down to South Australia. We've been all through the Eyre Peninsula. We've been to mushroom farms. We've been truffle hunting. And, we never stop learning, like you just said.
The day you stop learning is the day you change.
Yeah. Yeah.
For me, it's that excitement of seeing, that new ingredient, what you can do with it, putting it in front of your team and how you can make it work. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You see that innovation everywhere.
And competitions, with the Australian Culinary Federation and also World Chefs, competitions play a big part.
They do play a big part, but it's only a percentage of our membership because not everyone else wants to put themselves out there. But as a young chef, it's a great way to build your confidence, build your networks, use new ingredients, innovative ways, and be given the time to develop yourself. It's you on a plate. So at the end of the day, it's your innovation and creativity, but it's also career paths that you can develop out of that. You look at some of our young chefs, Chris Malone, for example, he's in Dubai in an executive chef position. He's been, our global chef representative for Australia. He's been our young chef representative. He's traveled. So it's where those paths can take you also.
And also mentorship and, like you talked about earlier, relationships and commitment and all of that. But the relationships, they're key to career opportunities coming your way and also just learning.
It's key. Your network is, as I say to my students, remember who sits beside you in this classroom. You don't know in 20 years' time where you're going to be.
Yep.
You could be the interviewee with, with one of your colleagues. It's who you know around the world. I'm very blessed that I've got good networks.
Mm-hmm.
I can reach out if somebody's going to Germany or going to the States and go, link them up with people. So I think that's a big part of building that too. And it is a family. The pair, the white jacket is really strong. And the sense of camaraderie around the world is huge. You go to a World Chefs Conference. I was one in Singapore last September. You've got chefs from all around the world and you keep in touch with them.
So let's talk about World Chefs. Can you explain what that association is?
Sure. Well, it's the governing body over it, as it says, World Chefs.
Yeah.
So every country has a national association. I, as the national president for Australia, hold the vote or the seat for Australia for World Chefs. I also represent the Pacific Rim on a number of committees. So it's that whole embodiment across the world of that network, the education, the job opportunities, and it's a Paris-based office, which at the 100-year anniversary is coming up soon of World Chefs. So it's a long-established association with great mentors, scholarships, and opportunities through it.
And how does that make you feel playing such a important role within those associations?
Well,
Does that make you feel proud? Because it should, because what you've accomplished and what you represent to other chefs, whether they be male or female or what have you, is extraordinary. So, yeah.
Thank you. I don't think so. But no, it's important to have a voice and it's important to have somebody who'll listen but also action. And I think that's a big part of it as well.
Absolutely.
And
there's been a lot of improvements along the way in our kitchens and under the hospitality umbrella in general. What milestones or what improvements do you think we've made as an industry in the last 20 years?
Oh, some great new fashions and food.
Oh, no. Yes. Oh, the fashion show too. Remember?
Yes. Look, attitudes have changed within the kitchen. It's a respected industry. I think that respect is growing more and more. And looking at differences, I was having a conversation, it's tied to this, but about how the industry is going now. We're noticing over the through COVID, prior to COVID, with a lot of people leave, obviously, and coming back into the industry now, we'll notice a lot of people are coming back in, but also our young apprentices, etc. That's growing.
Mm-hmm.
That's had the biggest growth area now, probably in the last 5 years, but we're noticing it's more the 16 to 18-year-old demographic is really starting to come into the industry, and we have not seen that in years. So obviously, the tactics that are being used for making sure your mental health is looked after, the supports that are being put into the workplace, sociable hours, making sure that people have a life. And I think, and that the family is valuable too. I think they're the biggest, what's attracting people to come back in.
That whole work-life balance.
And also salaries are moving as well, which is a big part, because it was always, you did hospitality as your part-time job. I was quite surprised when I came to Australia, like working through the Hilton or through the Conrad. I did my apprenticeship next door to, you had your waiter who was a first-year apprentice. You had your manager who was a first year. So we were all trainees and apprentices together. And to come to a country where suddenly it wasn't seen in the same light was a big eye-opener to me. So that's changing, which is fantastic.
And do you think collectively, why is it changing? Is it just because of the demand?
Customer demand. It's also expectation.
Yeah.
You've got to think at the moment, we're in a high-cost society. Sydney's expensive, and Australia. You go out, you want that experience. You want that special experience, and you want somebody who knows what they're doing. And thank God we've got some fabulous talent within Australia, both front and back of house.
Karen, how long have you been the program manager for Le Cordon Bleu and TAFE New South Wales?
Oh, gosh, a little while. Program manager about 5 years. Prior to that, I was the head chef for cuisine and patisserie for the Le Cordon Bleu programs in conjunction with TAFE New South Wales. And I fell into that also. It wasn't something I expected, but the whole governance around that, making sure students are educated correctly, facilities are fantastic. I've got fabulous staff and lecturers across both areas. So it's that just making sure that a student gets the optimum learning experience and the skills required to succeed in their career.
Oh, well, I'll tell you, as an alumni for Le Cordon Bleu, I will second that. Some of the best training. I mean, I often reflect back to my days at Le Cordon Bleu and how important it was, and the expertise and training that I received was outstanding.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
And the friendships and relationships, and again, going back to your network, that's what it's all about.
Well, it's the most valuable thing you can have in your toolbox.
Very good. Excellent. That's true. That's very true.
And you look at the success stories across both TAFE New South Wales and Le Cordon Bleu and other training institutions, the impact training has on a young person or a more mature age person, and where you can go with, you can do your young apprenticeship and then come back as a mature age student to do your Cert 4 in kitchen management, advanced diplomas, or possibly into a bachelor degree, depending on where you are. So there's lots of options out there and to grow your career.
The world's your oyster.
Yeah, well, I think the days of being in a career for 40 years have definitely changed, especially with all the new generations. I don't know about you. For us, it was you'd look and go, someone's been in a job for 10 years. Yes, they're good. They've moved a lot. You'd be going, oh. Whereas now that's something that's quite sought after.
The norm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what about exciting?
It is exciting. And outside of the kitchen, though, what's something that you're passionate about that would surprise people? That's outside of your workplace. What's something that you're passionate about?
I like my garden. Mm-hmm. I like being able to, if I'm cooking at home, to be able to go out and get your fresh produce. I need a kaffir lime leaf, nip outside. That's one thing I do enjoy. That's kind of my downtime, along with walking. Like, I'm very fortunate where I live. I've got a nice park. I've got the beach. I've got all facets, and that's one thing, especially when I'm thinking or developing a new recipe or new program. It's just to get outside and have that space to think too.
Karen, what advice would you give perhaps other women out there that are aspiring to pursue leadership roles?
I think the first thing you should do is find someone you admire, so you can possibly approach them, get some mentorship. Take opportunities, shadow people. I think they're really important. Also look around at what courses, etc., are out there. I know through ACF we've got a number of micro-credentials, through other areas. There's those little short snippets of leadership and management courses. Also, if you are thinking of leadership, don't be afraid. Put your hand up, take over the past for a night. Things like that can really bring you up. But a mentor is a good thing to have. It gives you a little bit of support, someone to sound off if you're not sure or uncertain, that you can reach out and ask those questions and have the support behind you. Because it is a tough industry at times.
It can be, absolutely.
You have to be able to work under pressure, and that's part of it too.
Well, who do you admire in the industry?
God, there's so many. Yeah. Oh, God, if I'm saying it now, when I was young, it was one person I used to think was fabulous was Marco Pierre White.
Yes. Okay.
And then last year, a few people will tell you when we were overseas, when I was in Germany for a camp 2 years ago, One of my heroes is Anton Mosiman. Every time I meet him, I'm like a child. So if we're talking about admiring and where people go from where they started to where they go now, there's some incredible journeys out there. And I look at like Naomi, how she's succeeded, what she's been through, and is always cheerful, has the best attitude, and look at what she's doing in leading a fabulous new kitchen.
You're talking about Naomi Lowry.
Yes, I am. That's
yes.
one person that sprung to mind straight away. So there's lots of inspiring male and females out there.
And what about mentors? Have you had mentors throughout your career?
Probably informal mentors, because as you might have guessed, I'm not afraid to ask a little question. I think most people go, oh God, here comes Karen again, because I will pick up the phone or I will do it. But yeah, as an apprentice, I had a head chef who was fantastic, not in the kitchen I was currently in, but I spent a lot of time with him, taking over his kitchen the odd night and doing different things to give you that confidence to be able to go out, to branch out and be yourself. And I still talk to him every so often. Which is nice.
Well, we've got some quick fire questions. Okay. Are you ready?
No, but anyway.
We've got the quick fire. Sweet or savory?
Savory.
Signature dish for a dinner party at home?
Beef Wellington.
What most underrated ingredient?
Oh, gosh. Brussels sprouts.
What is your go-to late night snack?
Oh, at the moment, salt and vinegar pea crisps.
Well, with the ACF and with World Chefs, in our show notes, we'll have all the contact details. And so if there are listeners wanting to get in touch, is that the best way for them to get in touch with you and the organizations?
Definitely. The website is up and running. It's up to date all the time. And we've got Chef's Chat that goes out every week, etc. So, yeah, definitely get involved. It's exciting.
Well, Karen Doyle, thank you so much for joining us today in the studio. It's an absolute pleasure. And yes, next time we will have some vino and cheese. So
definitely.
We'll maybe fast forward and just we'll loop back in a year or so, and then we can see what else you've been up to, because you've got a very busy life.
Yeah, there's some exciting stuff coming up in the next period of time. So that could be interesting.
Watch this space.
Exactly. Thank you so much for having me.
If this conversation sparks something in you, please share it, talk about it, and consider how your plate can be part of the solution. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll catch you next time with more real talk from the change makers shaping Australia's food future.